I got my like five tabs of notes up.
I ran
I'm
over
ready.
back to the room to get my coffee. You guys want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
The first scene you show is from the movie.
Oh yeah.
The second is from the OVA.
It was hard to get scenes that. It was hard to get GIF images, so I dipped into the movie.
The third is also from the movie.
I know.
I know exactly where all these come from.
It was just hard. It was an older anime, so it was hard to get GIFs of it.
The movie is beautiful.
You guys want to introduce yourself while I get this?
I'm Potatoes.
You are not potatoes, sir. I call BS.
There's Potatoes.
I'm a sheep.
You're a sheep. I'm Silver, and because Echo is not with us again this week, I will be your well-organized colony of bees.
It's a good thing we have someone to fill in on such short notice.
We
We need the bees.
We have bees, potatoes, Sunny.
I am a glowing orb of fusion. So yeah. So that's all we need.
You give us the vitamin D.
And I am the. Oh God, I feel like I need to match it up.
Plenty
I'm
of warmth
Diggy.
for everyone. Now it's everything we need.
There we go. And this week we're going to be talking about Und Panzer, which was Sunny's choice for this week. I was actually going to say, Silver, I want you to think what anime you'd want us to watch next week, because we're going down the list of letting everyone choose one anime of their choice before we go back to the voting system.
Oh, okay.
So don't say it out loud, just message me when you're ready. And it could be any anime as long as it's 12 episodes.
Any anime, you say?
Any anime.
Any anime.
Any anime.
It's- I choose you, Pikachu.
Z said, I'm Z. If you could drift a tank, then it shouldn't be impossible to drift a unicycle as well.
I believe.
Can it
Also
can it
drift
be 13
trains.
Can it be 13 episodes?
Yeah, I can.
Probably, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I
As long
think
as
the
it's-
most is like
It's
1
16,
core.
like
yeah.
if it hits the
16,
20
I'd say.
to
or
if it hits
15.
17 or higher, I think it's a no.
Okay.
I would say 15 or higher.
I say 15, yeah.
Yeah, 14 and lower is 1 core. 15 is like 1.5.
Yeah.
I'm concave. No one knows my real name because I'm stupid like that, and I don't want to share with other people online. That is absolutely fair, and I don't think that's stupid. My real name isn't Diggy. Go figure. Isaac said, I'm extroversion olive pussy. And Mark says, thank you, son. Oh,
We should
I'm Mark.
probably-
I'm not dead this week. I'm happy. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to not be dead.
Diggy,
Oh, that
I'm the
movie was
reason
so
that this
good.
whole thing happened, so fuck you.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Thank you, concave.
I'm Diggy Stock, and I'm an animated shovel.
I'm an animated show. My teacher in high school, she was all like, okay, I'm not gonna remember anyone's name, so everyone's gonna have to draw something that to get me to remember their name, and I actually had to draw like a shovel, like in a hole, and she was like, oh, that's easy. She didn't care if it was my real name or not. I would just write my name in Diggy Stock, and she'd accept it as the homework too. My animation teacher, she was pretty cool.
Be funny.
Anyways, let's get right into it. Before oh god, I
Getting
totally
right
forgot.
into it
I
immediately.
totally forgot. I saved that image. Let me know when you guys see it.
Which one? I want
Okay.
that one. I want you to give that to me later.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay, that was good. That was good.
Okay. So hold on, I told us to change that. Oh, we're gonna talk about the anime in a non-spoilerly way. That way, anyone who would want to see it can see it, and then as soon as we get over a certain threshold, we can go all into spoilers of what happens and
This
how
show
it
cannot be
concludes.
ruined with spoilers.
No,
Yeah.
it really
Thank you.
can't
You
actually.
cannot ruin this show.
You can't ruin this show.
Does
Thanks,
anyone want to
thanks,
give
thanks,
a quick synopsis of what Girls in Panzer is about?
Sunny.
Cute girls driving cute tanks. That is exactly what
The
this
key
is.
word.
It is
Cute
nothing
tanks.
else.
Not cute girls. Cute tanks.
Yes.
The tanks aren't cute.
I
And
disagree,
they're all from, like,
sir.
They're all from like different countries, right? Because I know there's
Yes.
a Russia.
Yeah,
China.
main girls-
Every school involved
Russia.
is based off of a different country, and all of the tanks are, I believe they're World War II. There might be some World War I, but I'm pretty sure it's mostly World War II era tanks. And the basis of the show is World War II tanks are restored, and schools use them to fight each other in somehow a safe way. It takes a little bit of suspension of disbelief, but they fight each other in a sport that is mostly called tankery, but it's translated in multiple different ways. It is tank fights. It is tank battles
It's
among
tank
high school
battles.
girls.
It's
I would
tank
say the
battles.
tanks
Beautiful.
aren't cute because the tanks are very realistic.
This show
And
got me into tanks.
I
I actually
think-
know stuff about tanks now because of this show.
I think they're from some World War One, some World War Two, as well. There might be a
remember that.
couple that are a little newer than that. The main school's tanks are from all over the place, whereas the other
Yeah, they're all
schools
over
are
the
all
place.
themed as
Themed for
to
their
where their
nationality.
tanks come from.
Yes,
Like
the main
American
school
tanks, Italian
description.
tanks, Russian tanks.
And there's also a Japanese school and a French school and an
Well, yeah,
Italian school, but those aren't covered in the main.
I
There are
didn't-
lots
I
of.
wasn't gonna
It's a
name
very
all of
large
them.
world.
So, what's your
Very,
guys'
very large.
feelings going into the anime? Like, what you guys think before even starting it, knowing what the premise was actually
Alright.
about?
Okay, I didn't see this anime until today, so like, or yesterday, today, whatever. Like, I haven't seen it at all. I was expecting, alright, we got fucking cute girls, blah blah blah. It's gonna be the anime bullshit where they play those. Oh, we're gonna have a speech episode. We're gonna have this episode. I didn't get any of that shit. I'm happy.
It's just tactics.
When I first watched this anime, it was actually brought to me by my friend who also brought me to watch High School DxD, which is like my most hated anime ever. So when he showed me this, I was all like, I'm not expecting much. I do not trust your taste in anime anymore. But I was pleasantly surprised. This one actually, like, it's quirky. It has a like an off sense of humor in a weird way. But
It does,
it flows
it does.
perfectly with the whole concept of girls fighting in tanks. I guess the irony of it.
Which is exactly what it
Exactly.
tries to be, and it's exactly what it becomes. And it's beautiful.
Exactly,
Mm.
Smoby.
But they still keep it that they're the fact that it's anime, and I love. Oh my god, that GIF image.
So, oh Jesus,
Which
So-
one was it? Which one was
going
it?
the
There's a lot of
War
silly ones.
flashbacks.
Oh.
yeah the war flashback one. So going into this, Sunny said it was great. I trust Sunny's judgment pretty much. And it's girls and tanks, and I was like, all right, it's gonna be another military one. And I'm a big fan of Can Call, Boat Girls. I know it's slightly different.
Wait. What'd you say? What the fuck? What'd you say?
I said I'm
What
a
did
big
you-
fan of
Contact collection.
Did you watch?
Contact
Did,
Collection, Can Call.
Cole.
did you watch the anime?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I didn't say the anime was good. I'm just a big fan of the Boat Girls.
You're right. Yeah. Okay. Same.
I'm a big fan of the Boat Girls.
Same.
Now I know this is different. Then it's not the girls are the tanks, but Sunny said it was good, and I was like, all right, well, military, it's probably gonna be okay. So that was my thoughts going into it.
Bye, Concave. Sorry. I had
Peace,
to say
Concave.
that before you left. Bye. Sunny.
In that same kind of thing, I watched this show. I think it was 2016, late 2016. And I'm like, okay, I need a new show to watch. And I looked at Contact Collection. I'm like, I could watch Contact Collection, or I could watch Girls and Panzer. And I ended up going with Girls and Panzer, and I never regretted it. This is I went into it. I'm like, girls, tanks, that sounds interesting. I wonder how it's gonna go. And here we are. It's one of my favorite shows.
Don't do that to yourself, Sonny. Don't watch Contact Collection.
I still will watch that one day.
Oh yeah,
The
I'd say
girls
watch
are
it.
nice, but
It's
Hey,
it's not a good
Gavin.
story.
hi, you, Gabby. Larry, you want to read chat?
Or do you want me to read?
Probably what Mark said.
Yeah, what Mark said. This is the first
This
time.
is the first time I saw this anime, so I had no expectations. I thought it was just going to be pure comedy. It had no story, but this really surprised me. I enjoyed this a lot. High School DxD episode 8. I don't want to know what happens in High School
High
DxD.
School
right? Okay,
DxD episode 8 was
Take
not like
care.
Gurren Lagann episode 8, but it
I
just
haven't
killed
seen
just as many
Let
people.
Alone-
Well, reset the counter.
There we
I
go.
haven't seen, let alone
It killed just as
heard
many
of this
people,
anime
me being the communist in the situation.
until who brought up that we were
Yes.
watching it? Until you guys. Okay, for this week, I guess my expectation was for it might have been the Concol, except it turned out to be nothing like it. Much more lighthearted and silly. Yeah, it did. And then everyone said, "Oh my God."
I've never seen Contact Collection, so I can't
Don't.
really compare the two. So I just know that they're like slightly similar, and that's why I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch one of these.
Yo, Gabby, if this is the most sexiest anime ever, you should never watch To Love Ru. That's gonna blow your fucking mind. To Love Ru Darkness, to be exact.
Yeah.
There's lots of
Don't-
things that you
don't
shouldn't
do it.
watch. You'll probably die. Sensual overload.
So let's get right into spoiler
Silver has a lot
territory
to
and talk
say.
about the show now. Just don't hold back if you guys want to talk right to the last episode
Oof.
or anything.
Ooh,
Silver
these
has a lot to
battles are
say. I'm going to
spicy.
refute everything.
Ooh, these battles are
Start
mean-
telling us your notes.
dude.
I'm excited.
All right, so I watched all 12 episodes in 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. When I first started, I was like, all right, it's starting and it seems like it's okay. These girls are a little bit generic, but I can deal with that because the tanks are beautifully animated.
And they are even more beautifully animated in the movie.
The tanks, I'm starting off with my positive statement
Okay.
of the tanks are beautifully done. The details on the inside and the outside of the tanks is just like they did their work. This is an anime, that was
The
written.
guy who made this is a giant tank nerd.
So-
he put
so-
a lot of attention to detail.
It's
in that.
the guy who made this is not just a tank nerd. Like he's a military otaku.
Yeah.
And this is an anime made for military otakus, where the tanks are the main thing. They look awesome. The girls are generic and cute. And very stereotypical of the high school girls in anime. There's every single stereotype from an anime of high school girls that could be put into this show was shoved into this show. When you need 2 different episodes that are 0.5 to explain who characters are to your audience, you probably have too many characters.
The cast is large, but you don't. I mean, I wouldn't say that those
No,
are.
it's a large
necessary.
cast, but I
The
think
cast
it's
is
fine.
very large.
There were the 2 episodes. It was like
Yeah, the recap.
5.5 and 10.5, where they're like, meet the people, and they explain who all of the characters are and why they're doing tank stuff. It's like, oh, well, okay, I guess.
I wouldn't
So-
say that they're necessary to understand or enjoy
They're not.
the show, but yeah, I mean, it's important to figure out. They are.
Those 2 episodes are definitely not necessary for the show
Nice
because
little bonus.
the characters don't matter. Their reasons for being in tanks don't matter. Their backstories don't matter. What they're trying to accomplish don't matter. It's literally just, hey, look, here's tanks and cute girls.
Yeah, it's sports. It definitely felt like a sports anime. Like it
Yes,
gave me
it's
that
very-
same
it's
very
feel. Like
sports anime.
yeah, it gave me that same feels that I get when I was watching Free or Haikyuu or stuff like that. Even though
Yep.
it was mostly comedy, like you had that soft basis of comedy.
Yeah, but with like Haikyuu and Free, you kind of want to know about the characters and why they're doing what they're doing. Literally, this show, I couldn't care less about any of the characters. They were all too
Well,
generic.
that's good
and-
because like they
stereotypes.
that wasn't the important thing. The important thing was about the tanks. They like worship the tanks, and that's what it was about exactly.
yeah,
But the girls didn't matter. It was nice to have them there, but like they seriously just didn't matter.
correct.
You're not going
Other
to be
than
able
that-
to remember everyone's name. It's just not going to
Yeah,
happen.
no, it's way too much.
Other
Speaking
than
of
that,
which, who was
everything
your
else I
favorite
have
girl?
to say is
Because
Kind of
I love
negative.
the little Russian girl.
Katyusha.
She was the best.
So if you notice in the Russian, when she comes out, she's actually riding in a Russian anti-aircraft or artillery kind of vehicle, and that is
Yeah,
called
I
a
saw it.
Katyusha. That's called a Katyusha.
Oh.
Don't worry, my Russian friend
Interesting.
made sure that I knew that that's a Katyusha.
Interesting.
That is interesting. Katusha is my waifu.
Yes.
Fucking
That is
you,
what it is
Gabby.
called. It's very
There's that gift
interesting.
again.
That's super neat. I love all
Lots
the little factoids that are actually in this show, or even things that are hidden.
Learn a lot about like actual tanks, and I'm pretty sure I remember there being like the official thing, like the official organization says like you cannot have anything later than a World War II era, and that's why the mouse at the end is kind of weird because there's like 2 of them made, and they were never officially fielded. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure in World War II because they were too big, but they ended up going through the loophole and using it anyway. But it's really specific in the rules of what you can and can't use.
So, I mean, yeah, but other people talk before I go negative things.
Oh, go for it.
I'm waiting.
All right, so if all you're looking for is cool tanks and tank battles, this is a good anime.
That's all I needed.
If you want story, like character development, anything like that, like it does feel like a sports anime, but it does not feel like a sports anime in the way of any of the other ones where, you know, they have character development, they have, you know, whatever. They like none of that. It was all terrible. Most of the writing was pretty, like, I thought was pretty bad. Like, I'm reading the subtitles and I'm just like, really? There
It's
were a
sports.
couple.
It's minus all the story and development.
Yeah, it's literally like the only thing that was good about it were the tanks and the tank battles. A lot of the jokes were just like kind of groany. Like I just wanted to be like, oh, that was bad.
If
So-
they made it serious, I kind of feel like I wouldn't have liked it as much.
I kind of want to say
Because
I,
like, because like if the characters had like inner heartfelt like turmoil and like wanted to like change and stuff
Yeah.
like that, I think I'd feel like it was like just another anime. But this, it's so carefree, and they're recognizing that the irony of girls, these cute little girls actually driving tanks. Like I like that it's not serious.
I think. I
Oh,
like
I'm
how
not
they
saying
took
it needs to be
both.
serious. I'm just saying that anything besides the tanks and the battles didn't even need to be there. Did like any of the scenes of like them walking to school, or the thing with the one girl's grandmother where she's yelling but apparently she actually really cares, none of that didn't matter. Didn't even
That
need
shit
to be
was
there.
weird. That shit
They,
was
like-
awkward as fuck.
Like,
I feel like
right,
if you removed all of that in between, it would feel really weird just going from battle to battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no motivation at that point. Like you
I
kind of
was
see, oh,
thinking-
you know, give us some feels for the characters.
so I was gonna say for a point towards taking all of the stuff out in between and going from battle to battle, and you know maybe small things in between. Initial D has the battle stages that they released, which were they took the season of the anime and went, you know what, we're just gonna release, here's all the races, none of the story, here's just race to race if you just want to watch the races. And those work. Because if you're just there to see the tanks shoot at each other with cute girls in them, that's all you need. And that's really all that's there. I did want more from it when I did research afterwards and looked at some of the other stuff that the people who did Girls in Panzer had worked on. I got even more disappointed because I was like, well, well, they've done these things. Those were really good. What happened? But
I think you'll like the OVA and movie more.
yeah, I'll
the movie
watch it.
better.
It's like I'm gonna watch it because I'm sure that the tanks
Yeah.
are amazing, and I'm sure the battles are awesome, and like the strategy they put into it, the actual military history advising and stuff, is good. But all of the story parts and the girls themselves, like they didn't even need to talk except to like tell each other what to do. I really wish they didn't have any conversations about anything besides the tanks.
I feel like
I
it
love
would
the
just be too.
conversation.
It'd be too
boring.
artificial.
I
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah.
I liked how they're cute, quirky conversations.
Like when Initial D released all of its racing stuff, it's because we already know the fucking story.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you know, Girls of Panzer. Okay, we got the story.
There
the
is no
fucking-
story.
No,
The girls in
what?
Panzer. It's not like there's a story.
Yeah,
No,
but
there's
you
no
need that
story.
build up. You can't just have cute girls fighting a tank and then not know anything
Yeah.
about them. The fact
There's
that we
still
know,
a reason
Look,
there.
yeah, but now it's already built. We already got something. So now they can just start releasing fucking tank wars all over.
So
But we still need character so we can get their attitude when they fight.
Yeah.
okay,
As-
so
You can't-
As much character development is lacking, you can still look at a character and be like, well,
yeah.
they're
And
probably
there's-
gonna do this.
yeah.
Like you
And they
know
get-
the general attitude of each team.
Yeah, and
Oh.
yeah. We with the attitude they give us with those small snippets, we can it reflects on the war that they do, so it's good. We should not take out all of it. If
no,
any-
no. You should have like the introduction of when they first show up. Hey, this is this girl. This is her. You know, this is her. This is her generic stereotype. Bam. This is how they're gonna interact. But then after that, like exactly when they introduced the online gaming girl team of those 3 girls, that's how like I feel like that's how they should have done all of the teams of girls.
I like that
Like-
they had no experience and immediately got shut and got out.
that shit was funny because they're just
Like,
like,
wait a
hey,
second, we can't do
we're all
this."
nerds. We're all nerds, and then they get shot out like instantly. But then the next one, they're like, oh, we gotta train, we gotta get pumped. So they start lifting, and then when the next fight, they fucking throwing shells at each other. Like, what the fuck?
It was
like,
beautiful.
They worked.
Don't talk
the
about that,
fuck
Larry.
out.
Talk
No,
about
that's
that.
the end, right?
Is
that's
that
the
in the end here?
Oh wait, no, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ye-
You watched the rest, didn't you?
No, I've totally
So-
watched the
He watched
movie.
the
I was like, I
movie.
need to. I was like, I need to
So-
watch the movie.
The movie is beautiful, isn't it?
Sure, things like that. Okay. Like a lot of it just seemed like it was like we're just going to shove these scenes in for filler, really.
I mean, yeah, which is fine because I mean, like, I'm not gonna expect like.
I'm just saying I
a
didn't like the
whole
filler.
I'm not gonna expect 20 minutes of tank battle. Like, I'm not expect a company to whip that out. I mean,
Also,
you know.
I haven't
I'm
seen a lot of sports shows, but I wouldn't really say that like there's a I mean there's like we have to win the competition and like some stuff in between. There's not really, you know, the most plot driven character centric stories that come out of sports anime. You watch it sports, you're watching it for action and then playing. You can still have it, it's just not
it's built on
focused.
2 things. Okay, character development, and then the sport. Because you can't just have fucking people playing games. You gotta know their
you
motives.
get an investment in
Okay.
the character.
I
which
gotta-
I
I
think
gotta
it does well
Right.
enough
All right, I gotta
to
reach
say
chat.
that
Hold on.
I wouldn't knock
You
it.
like, dude, I saw that shit. You guys passed by like really 5 feet away.
Let's see. I actually really enjoy the characters and story. We'll figure that out later, Gavin. You can explain it to him later. I'll help you explain it to him. I actually really enjoyed the characters and story for them, especially this scene where all the girls found out their school was gonna get closed down if they didn't win. Yeah, that was a good scene. And then I got a little teary there. I guess you are emotional, man, Mark. So my main grip with the story, it didn't seem long enough. I felt like there were a few more episodes that we could have gotten a slightly more involved story. Yeah, I felt the exact same way, but like they deliver on what they're supposed to do. Fucking tank battles, and that's theme song
So,
was almost better than the story.
that episode,
What?
it feels like it wasn't there because they skipped the Anzio battle, which is the Italian
Yeah,
school, and
they
that's what the
did,
OVA
which is There's an OVA I just downloaded.
That's the OVA. They couldn't
Called
put
the
it
Real
into the
Zeo
main thing.
Battle.
I was like,
So,
why'd they skip this girl? She's like, she got an injury and everything. Why'd I skip her? And then I realized, oh, it's OVA. See, Mark says I could agree with the movie. I actually didn't think I would have enjoyed this anime without the characters as cool as the tanks and the battle where the characters were what pushed me on. Seeing the characters in the tank battles, the characters' motivation were great. They added personality to the tank battles. The moment, so there was a story of get girls join tank club, have her struggle her inner demons for a few episodes, drop the bomb. And is that if they don't win, bad shit will happen. Resolve conflict and put demons to rest. It doesn't have a best story, but there's a story, and it's a story that drives the characters, which I like. That story just drives the battle, and you need something that drives the battle. You can't just have sports.
Yeah.
We're gonna win. Like you need drive.
Right. I
Like, you still watch it.
agree.
Okay.
I'm just saying I thought the story and how they did it and the scenes where it wasn't tank battles were bad. I did not like those. I did not like the story or the backgrounds of the girls because it was all very generic. Like they didn't
that's how life
they didn't
is.
put a lot of work into it. They didn't put a lot of work into it. They were like, yeah, we want to get these tanks and these tank battles out. If they had put a little bit more work into it, it might have been, if it was like an episode or two longer and they actually did some okay character development, not what they were doing in it right now. Sure, I might have enjoyed that part better.
So I would say, outside of them actually fighting, which you have to have that suspension of disbelief, because even though they're firing, just someone's gonna get hurt, but no one ever does. You just have to kind of, it.
Well,
The characters are not exceptional. They're not main character in a shonen. Like, they are generic. People are generic by default. Some of them just want to do tankery. Some of them want to do it for specific reasons. People don't have to all be special. Everyone on the team of like 20, 25 people, not everyone needs to be, that special snowflake with that one thing that, they have such a grand reason to fight.
Oh,
People it's more realistic to say, well, they're there because their friends are there. They're there because they like tanks, because they find them interesting, because they're history nerds, because they're game nerds. Everyone has a reason. It doesn't have to be a grand reason, and there doesn't need to be a lot of characters. It's a lot more realistic in why they're there.
I think he's just saying like he felt the anime could have done without it.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, besides the initial like, oh hey, we're the volleyball team, but our volleyball team got disbanded, so we're gonna start doing tankery. Anything else about those characters, who cares? Which, they didn't really say anything else about those characters. Awesome. The main team characters, besides the thing that halfway through they're like, oh yeah, I used to do tankery, and like they did the whole little backstory for the main girl, the commander girl, and I was like, oh, that's just they could have done it better, or they could have left it out. That's what I'm saying.
Everyone in the main five gets some sort of insight into their past. It's just not a ton, because they do want to focus on the thing.
I know.
I mean, let's be
but
real.
there still needs to be something about
all that shit was weak. That shit was weak. But that's not what we came here for.
Right. That's what I'm pointing out. Like I said, tank battles, great. I feel like the scenes where they were trying to explain backstory or trying to give the generic characters something, they did it badly. So that I did not like. They could have done it better, or they could have done it less. And put more tanks and more battles in. One or the other.
But then you come into the problem of it feeling too artificial, of just having nothing about the characters. Because I would argue even what they put in is significantly better than leaving absolutely nothing in there. Because then it would just feel too weird.
You can't have nothing, but they could have had less.
Then that
and
would
had
have
more
felt
tanks.
That would have felt like really gimmicky. Like it's already gimmicky as it is, but that would have felt like really gimmicky.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Mark says just
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
how they introduced the tank reprogram to school. A lot of them just thought it was cool, wanted to try it out. I also love how they executed Miho's backstory. They kind of just showed a little bit of an early episode, and you find out later that she didn't want to get involved with tanks again. I thought it was great for developing. Miho grew a lot. I thought from the beginning to the end of the anime. Story wise, I think it was fine. Like I think if you try to make it better, you just add too much at this point because you don't. That's not what it's about. We don't want to make it like they need to win. They have this huge drive, this huge passion. Keep it simple, because it's all about the tanks. I think we're focusing way too much on the story.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, the tanks were fucking perfect,
yeah,
Yeah, the tanks were perfect.
Like I said,
and that's all. And that's all we fucking watched it for.
Right.
That's all we really did.
Well, all right. So no, that's not what I watched it for.
I watched it for comedy, to be honest.
I did not go into this going, all right, this has awesome tanks. I'm watching it for the tanks. I went into it thinking it was going to be an actual fleshed out anime where there would be some sort of decent story and then tanks and tank battles and cute girls. What I got was amazing tanks, amazing tank battles, a shitty story, and generic cute girls. I'm not saying that overall that's a terrible, terrible thing, but if you want something that's military themed and little bit more story driven with cute girls and stuff, there are other things out there that could fill this anime's slot better than this one did. And actually, some of them are even made by the same people that made this show. Like Strike Witches.
Oh,
I didn't-
Strike Witches.
Okay,
Before we get on that topic, harness your thoughts, because I have to do this real quick. I have to talk about our sponsors for today's episode: Hobbyholics, Epic Cosplay Wigs, and Weeb Apparel. These guys help out with the show. If you guys want to help support the show, you guys can help out by supporting them. And also, we have Otaku Anonymous t-shirts for sale. Then they're really nice. Ours are coming in soon, and I'm very excited. With that exclamation point merch and exclamation point Gundam to check out our sponsors and our t-shirts. Alright, back to the show. So what was the thing with Strike Witches? Because I have a lot to say about Strike Witches. I know we never seen it before, but like... I've seen it before for Anime Analytics, but I would like to talk about it.
We talked about Strike Witches?
So the guy who is the military history advisor on this also was on Strike Witches, and what was it? The studio? Was it the studio? Somebody else who worked on Girls und Panzer worked on Strike Witches. I'm going through my notes to find out where.
But all right, yeah.
Which one? If it was a writer or a animator or something. But yeah, there were two people that worked on Girls und Panzer that also worked on Strike Witches. And I don't know, like story-wise, I think Strike Witches might be a little better.
I mean,
I strongly dislike Strike Witches.
Okay, Strike Witches actually had a story, but I'm with Diggy. I didn't like Strike Witches that much.
I'm not saying I liked Strike Witches. I'm just saying it had a story. Strike Witches.
Yeah, it had a story.
Strike Witches executed the story part right, but then like the rest of it was bad. This, all of it was like the tanks and the battles were good, but the story part was bad, in my opinion. If they had done a combination of the not like Strike Witches and tank battles, but like if they took the good parts of Strike Witches and the good parts of Girls und Panzer and went, hey, instead of making two military themed animes, blah blah blah, and go completely different directions with them, why don't we make one military themed anime and make it overall good? It might have been it might have been, 2 seasons long at that point.
That's what I'm getting at. For Strike Witches had a story, but everything else was bad. 12 episodes, okay? This one had 12 episodes. If it had a serious story, all right? If it had a serious story, this shit, all those tanks, it would have been like, oh my god, my life is on the line. Ooh, this is dramatic. It wouldn't have been funny. It wouldn't have been seen as a sport. It would have been seen as war.
Yeah, because this
you could have still seen it as a sport.
Here's the thing. If they would have done it like that, it's like split it in half, like Strike Witches and this, it would have been Contact Collection, and I hated Contact Collection.
Yeah, it would have been like,
Contact Collection tried so hard doing a good story, and then making it too intense, and then having that lighthearted feel, and also having kind of like an action-y thing going on. It was so much, and it was horrible. It was probably second close to High School DxD for me. It was god-awful. I am happy this is the way it is, because it's like, it makes me feel happy after watching it. It's like, oh, I didn't have to take anything too seriously. This was pretty nice. As where Strike Witches, it's all like, oh my god, can this be over? So if it was a mixture of both of those, it would have been Contact Collection, in my opinion. And god, I hate Contact.
I don't know.
I just
Also, the person who is the writer, right? Let me make sure. Written by. Did some really, wrote scripts for some really, really good animes in the past. So when I found that out, and I was like, oh, this person wrote all this, but then they wrote Girls in Panzer, I was even more disappointed with the story and how bad it was.
What else do you have on your list?
I was saying, yeah, what else?
Not every story writing is good.
Well, so I mean, the writer did Hanayori Dango and the Digimon movie and Street Fighter Alpha, Angelic Layer, The Cat Returns, Get Backers, Kaleido Star, Scrap Princess.
Those are really old animes.
Yeah. Well, they're in order by year.
I was like, you're like pulling things out of the 80s. I was like, what? Get Backers.
D. Gray Man, K-On, just kind of the Saint Seiya.
Oh, you know what? K-On? That kind of feels like it, to be honest. Like how lighthearted and...
Apparently wrote Yo Mushi Pedal as well. I didn't even see that on the list the first time I was looking through it.
Yeah, that's...
Wrote Yo Mushi Pedal, which I love Yo Mushi Pedal.
So much backstory in that fucking anime.
Also apparently wrote Dragon Ball Z episodes.
Well, I mean, it's a different approach for everything, but I mean...
looking at some of the things that they wrote in the past and then looking at basically what Girls in Panzer was, I was a little bit disappointed.
Well, I think it fit it very well. I think it fits. It's not about what they wrote back then and now. I think it's just like, did it go well? I think it did.
Also, I'm pretty certain that this was created basically to create the cute girls in tanks to make money over multiple things. Animation, manga, light novel, game, so on and so forth. Just over all the different types of media, because the anime was the thing that was created first. Original
Yeah, it's original work.
Original work anime. Though the manga came out a month before the anime. So and then the light novel came out after. And then there's a game and everything, and so I think it was somebody was like, hey, you know what? Cute girls and tanks. Let's make a whole thing and make some money off that. Can't blame them. Cute girls and tanks, tank battles, good.
But I feel like I would agree with you. I would agree with you on that sentiment if it was actually the thing that you said, like if it was just cute girls and tanks and it didn't focus on like anything they were actually doing, because it was gimmicky at that point. Like if like I would agree with you if it was gimmicky, if they just focus on the tank battles. That's what I'm saying. Then I would agree with you with that, but I would have to argue for that point.
After I watched the OVA in the movie and the other OVA or whatever the rest of the animation stuff that was made, I might change my mind because those might make the story overall feel better. But again, I did not like the story or the writing, the actual script
Like their dialogue
of the
right?
anime. Yeah, the dialogue, like a lot of the jokes and like the humor that they were going for basically just made me go,
Oh, I liked it. It
like
was very
like a
wholesome.
couple of them here and there I went haha, and it was good, but I'd say 90% of the humor in it was just me going,
What else is on your list?
Hold on. Mark said they do make a thing throughout the anime that their tank battles were just a sport, not war. The characters even say it a few times. I felt great after watching this. I was so happy. And
Yeah, I
then,
didn't want it to be
Mark
more.
says the story was good enough for what it was. It was simple and clean. It's not the best story, but it gets you invested enough in the characters. And since you invested into the characters, it makes the tanks battles even better. At least for me, that is because you know their motivations, knowing that they were fighting to save their school and friendship. And Zamovi said, for all we know, there are things that could be tied, that could tie the story together, but only Sunny would know at this point since he's the only one who watched them so far. Well, I did too.
Larry watched it too.
Well, yeah, see, that's what I was gonna
And
say.
Larry
There
knows
could be
exactly
stuff.
what I'm thinking.
There could be stuff that happens later on in the OVA or the movie that will make me change my opinion of the story in the anime. So that's why, like, right now, just taking the anime, which is what we were supposed to watch,
Uh-huh.
I did not like the story. That's my bleh. Bleh. Their motivations, like each team of girls' motivations, like, whatever. Like, the only thing that made any sense for them to be like, besides just wanting to do tankery, like, hey, this seems fun, let's get in tanks and shoot at each other, was when they were like, when they found out that, you know, the school was going to close. And then at that point, like, it seemed like they put, like, oh, hey, let's throw a little drama in, you know, let's throw it in there. If they don't win, school's going to close and they're all going to have to go to different schools. They're all going to have to separate. Let's throw a little drama, make somebody a little teary-eyed. And I was like, come on. Like, that was...
I mean, I think that's better than nothing. I mean, like, you know what I'm
It's
saying?
better than nothing, yes.
I know. I mean, but like, what else are we gonna?
Is there
What else
anything
are we
else on
gonna
your
whip out?
list?
Like, what else they gonna whip out?
No, I just had, like, some stuff with the company that created it.
Okay. Well, let's talk about our favorite parts, because we spend too much time, like, there's actual stuff that happens in this anime. Like, favorite parts, favorite fights, favorite Panzer, like, what do you guys?
Like, you guys haven't watched the fucking battles. Like, I guess there is just parts where they just stop talking. It would just straight up, like, fucking tank multi-track drifting and just fucking
action.
shooting each other and just
Tank
action.
drifting
I'm like, oh, she won't get the shot in. She got the shot in. Oh shit, like that. Like, you see in all the GIF images, like that was like 10 minutes like straight of some of the episodes. No talking. They'll be like, oh, go left, go right. Oh, go here. Oh, go to this area. Done deal, like that. Like, oh shit.
I loved that.
Good.
I loved that. Those parts were so good.
Favorite
And it gets
Panzer?
better in the OVA and movie.
So, favorite tank at the beginning was totally the red and gold one, and I was
Stuck.
really
I think that's
hoping that they were gonna keep those paint jobs through the whole thing and not repaint them to be just, I was hoping that they were gonna keep because that would have given a little bit of character to the tanks and like each team painting it up the way they feel instead of just having them look like plain regular war tanks. But then I did like how they put the little characters on them, like the fish and the duck and stuff like that. That was a nice little touch. But after watching the whole thing, my favorite tank, what the little one,
The one that
Sunny.
the one that the council uses?
The 2 people one.
No, the I think it's the hall monitor's tank. The little one that has the 2 little barrels on it. Is that the hall monitor's tank?
I don't think so. The one with the 2 barrels should be the one with the freshman. Like that.
Is
that
that
actually
the one with
has.
the freshman with the one with 12 people in it?
They have 6.
Uh,
But it's got one like barrel that can turn up or to the sides, and one that just goes up and down, and it fires straight ahead.
I think that's the tank I'm talking about. It's the little tank, and it's got if that's the freshman team, then sure.
I can't remember, but I might be able to find out.
I feel like
I'm looking through the tank list right now, trying to figure out which one it is.
I feel like for me, remembering the tanks, it's like remembering an anime girl's name. I don't know Jack, and I don't remember.
The
But they
type
were cool.
Type 89 Ego.
Hmm.
The not turtle team. The duck team.
Oh yeah, duck is.
That was the volleyball team,
volleyball.
apparently. Okay. The duck team tank.
Oh,
was
Mark said, "I love the battles, especially the final battle. The strategy was so great and so unpredictable. Like each battle didn't feel the same, and the final one-on-one scene with 2 sisters was so cool. Like Maho tried to execute that strategy at the end against the school they practiced against earlier, but failed, and then they practiced, and then seeing them try it again and having it work on her sister, I thought it was a nice way to end the battle in the series. And so I came in expecting drifting tanks, and it delivered. The tank battles were a fun watch. Favorite character, Yukari was the best waifu. Wait, I'm 20, so don't say those. No, you can say those things. Favorite, they don't exist. Favorite tanks was the student council tanks, which I believe was the 38T. Oh, also Goosefish Dance.
They start out with a 38T and it becomes a Hetzer later on. And the one that I thought you were talking about was the Lee that the freshmen use, because it's got 2 actual independent guns.
Right. No, it's the Type 89 one. That was the tank I liked the best.
Oh god. The GIF image that just showed up is my favorite part, where they're practicing or whatever, and she's just standing outside the tank, and that bullet just whisks past her head. It's like, oh god, that's
That
a
was
real
the one
fucking
thing-
shell.
Miho doesn't care at all.
That was the one thing they mentioned once, where they're like, "Well, what? You shouldn't be outside the tank. What happens if you get hit?" And it's like,
Yeah.
well, people usually don't get hit, but if you did get hit, it would be real bad. And then they're always outside the goddamn tanks, and I'm like, oh.
Oh my
goddamn
god, and they
tank.
started singing the Russian song. And they're doing
Oh.
like that recon mission, like trying to go from one
okay.
place to another
I
in the
like
snow.
that one where they were the 2 of them, though, the one from the history thing with the hat, and the other girl were marching through the snow singing that song. That scene was okay. I liked that.
I like Yukari's interactions
that
with
whole
all of Hippo
episode.
Team. They call her like Darren or something. They give her a soul name or something. I thought that was great.
Yeah, it was. I like that whole
I wouldn't
episode
say
when they're
that
in
was
the
my
snow.
favorite though.
I like that whole episode. The recon mission scene was great. Right?
Larry, what about you?
Love how Yukari was a total tank nerd. She was great.
Like I think like everything like flashed between my eyes. So like,
Well, think about your favorite part,
I
then
don't-
we'll go to final ratings and thoughts. Final thoughts and ratings.
You say what your favorite tank was, Diggy?
My favorite tank?
Yeah.
I like the 2-seater. I don't know what it was. I
Who was
just saw
in
it
it?
in this. It's,
I
I don't know if
remember
it's
a
from the.
two-seater.
I think it's
Oh.
from the movie or the OVA.
The really
'cause
tiny one.
The really
the Italian
tiny one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love. Okay, that one is amazing in the movie. That one
It's
is
really
absolutely amazing.
They
but
can
it's-
just
it's
push
in
it
the- it's in
over
the
too.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But that one is just so great. It's,
Oh,
that's the one.
yeah,
Intro
not
is in-
not the main girl's tanks. It was one of the other school's tanks.
It was the Italian tank. It's a little scout tank, and it goes and does a bunch of stuff. It's really nice.
Is it the Fiat? No, not the Fiat.
I love
Um,
Fiats.
No, not the Semovente. L333.
I don't know. I don't know the names. That's it. That one's my favorite one though.
I'm
Larry, have
clicking
you
through
thought
all
of-
of the tanks looking for it.
Larry, have you thought of it?
Caro Veloce.
no, I
L333.
haven't thought of anything yet.
Yeah,
It's a
I was
tankette.
gonna say, I was
It's
gonna
not
say it
an
has to
actual
be the L333 because it's tiny and it's got a little little rear car thing.
Yeah. They call it a tankette.
A tank. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's very tiny.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Very. There we go.
Larry, have you thought your favorite tank?
I would say it's. I would say is the last battle.
So that's your favorite scene?
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite scene because that was like when you got like the right amount of tanks, and then it was like, they were getting pincered and shit, and they actually worked it out. That's when they got that heavy ass tank. I was like,
The
yo, that
mouse.
shit holding the front line. They took down. Like,
I loved that.
I was like, that scene was fucking tight.
I loved the end when they bring down the mouse. You're like, can they even do it? And then they do. They just destroy it. Well, I think my favorite scene was during the first battle with Saint Gloriana, and at the end when the Panzer IV just kind of destroys everything at the very end, but they still lose because the Churchill has a lot. The Churchill's a great tank too.
Oh, that church episode when they fought the Russians, that was pretty tight.
Yeah. I have a lot of favorite tanks in this. Most of them are in the movie and the OVA, but just this, I mean, like, you got the Churchill. I really like the Churchill. The KV-2 is really nice. The Tiger is really nice, but probably my favorite is they start out with a Panzer IV Alsif D, but they end with the H because it's got the extra armor on the sides, and they upgrade the barrel, and it is the Panzer IV Alsif H. At least I'm pretty sure it's the H. And it's the one that the main group uses. I really like. There's more in the movie that I like slightly more.
I like
And my
how
favorite
into this you are.
character- Yes, my favorite character is Maho,
Thanks.
Miho's sister, who's in charge of Black Forest.
Oh, the Black
I really
Forest
like her.
Girl Academy. I really like the driver for the main cast, the one that's always sleepy.
Yeah.
I love the
Mako.
English Japanese voice acting for both of them. The show is good.
I actually listened to the dub because I had already
Eh.
seen the sub, and I actually watched half of it while I was raiding last week. I was just ignoring my raid leader and watching this.
Alright, so real
Silver,
fast,
Silver, do you have a favorite? Oh no, you favorite scene. That's the question.
Oh, I think my favorite scene was also the church scene against the Russians when they were expecting their surrender and they had to come up with how they were going to get out from being surrounded. And yeah, that their whole strategy there to go where they did and everything, I liked that whole little thing. That was good.
Well, Larry, go ahead and re-chat and start the final thoughts and ratings. I need to use the restroom real bad. I'll be
Okay.
right back.
So, Mark says, I love the student council president tank as well. Miho is brave. On the recon mission scene was great. Yeah, the Russian one. Everyone really liked that one. I love how Yukari was a total tank nerd. She was great, too fast for eyes. I'm super excited to watch the movie. I love how they destroyed the Mazur tank. I never saw it coming. Mako, I watched this in English dub and I loved it. Yeah, I watched it both. It's really good. I watched the sub. Yukari is close second though. Wink. It's you, Sunny. Tank trains are a fantastic invention. Yes, they are, Doug. I have to say that was my favorite scene as well. The whole church scene. And for our final thoughts, let's go down the line, or let's go reverse. Sunny, what's your final thought about this?
I mean, at a minimum, this is like top 2 of all anime that I've seen. I love this show. I love everything about this show. I love all the characters in this show. I love all the tanks in this show. As much problems as Silver has with the story, I don't hate the story. The story's not the reason that I like it, though. I would give this show nothing less than a 10 out of 10. I love everything about it. This show got me to read about World War II tanks. I actually started playing World War because of this, too. I love this show. And if you haven't seen the movie and the OVA are even more tank battles. I'd say it's like a large percentage more tank battle to not tank battle. So if you like tank battles, go watch the OVA in the movie.
I will.
What about you, Silver? We're going bottom up.
Oh, going bottom up. All right. As stated, I had lots of problems with the story and the characters and everything, but I love the tanks and the animation on the tanks and the battles and the actual strategy put into it. So I have to give this, for just the anime, a 6. And I technically, right now, before watching the movie and OVA, I would not recommend people to watch this. Like, people that I know have, like, similar tastes to me. I'm not going to be like, yo, go watch Girls in Panzer. I'd just be like, eh. But again, could change. Movie and OVA could fix things, make me feel differently.
Mark, I will say, like, while the reason that they're fighting isn't that great, it is. I like the themes just overall. The theme of, like, this is a sport. You play it for fun. It's not life and death like Miho's mother wanted her to act like. It's not a reason to abandon people. It's not a reason to just go all in on winning. There is something to be said about a sport versus a war. And
yes,
yeah, I like the themes very, very much, just overall.
Like that one theme, that was the only thing that I thought, like, story-wise was good, was that theme of it's supposed to be a high school sport, not war.
Which is a major point of Miho
The
versus
second
her mother.
Well, yeah, but, like, that doesn't even really get brought up until halfway through.
Yeah.
Larry, your rating?
I was gonna say 9 out of 10 because of the discussion, but how I feel towards the anime, I give it a 10 out of 10. I still think this is, like, fucking, like, good as fuck. Like,
there are shows you rate on complexity, and there are shows you rate on enjoyment.
They weren't focusing on the story. It's obvious, they're not trying to, they're not trying to fucking, like, hit all the fucking Fist of the North Star godlike points. They focused on what they were going to do, which was tanks. They fucking love it. They did a job. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that the OST was hella fucking good.
The opening and the endings are amazing. I can sing them. I actually have remembered
I
most
think
of them.
I'll give this show a 9 out of 10. The story wasn't best. I did enjoy it a lot. It could have been better. It could have been better, but it wasn't the main focus of the show. I liked all the characters, even the opponents that they had to face. The tank battles were outstanding, and all the animation was great. Also, the OST fits very well with the whole tank theme. I felt really happy and satisfied after watching this. I would recommend this anime to people.
The music was good.
The theme of each show was inspired by something from that culture. it's very like, I mean, I was talking yesterday to Diggy, like, depending on the version that you watched, they might have actually sung Katyusha, they might have not, because in some cases they couldn't get the rights to it. But there are very heavy ties to each culture of each school when they fight them in the music.
I give this anime a 9 out of 10. It's, I have to say, it's not really what I would look for in an anime, but what it gave me, it did very well, because this is kind of an anime, if you like K-On! And if you want something more like K-On!, this is, like, on the same field as it, I think. It's, not very often I like animes that have harems in it, because I kind of feel like that gets really gimmicky and annoying real quick, like Kantai Collection or High School DxD. I kind of feel like it's all very bland, but this one, it made me feel happy in the end, and I guess that's more than I could say about a lot of animes. Like, I don't feel good after watching some animes that have too much going on or that doesn't have enough going on, but this has like a perfect mix that I'm satisfied with, and even if I don't watch the movie or the OVA, it's like, it did good with what it did, so I give it a 9 out of 10. I don't recommend it to everybody, but, I mean, like, if you just like cute girls, then fucking watch it. Now we need to do Strike Witches. No, Doug, that's okay. That is absolutely fine.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, that's not happening.
Doug said we need to watch
No.
Fury.
Oh, let me change. Wait, Diggy, let me DM you and let me change my anime.
No!
Oh, no.
No, too late. It's too late. It's too late. Next week's anime is Bakuno.
Hey! I gotta do the
next week's anime is Bakuno. You guys watch
rating.
Bakuno?
I'm not gonna change it. Yeah, it's
Is
Bakuno.
it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes! I love
Because
them.
I wanted to watch a good story anime.
Oh,
Yeah, that one's
that
really
is
good.
confusing. That is gonna be hard to talk about.
That one
Oh,
came out when I was in
Bakuno.
high school.
That's an anime.
Yeah,
Is it when-
that's so. The overall rating for
8.8.
Girls in Panzer is an 8.8. Thanks, Sonny.
I can do math too.
I know you can do math too, but I mean, I was in the middle of saying it. Cut me off. Jerk. Your stupid liking of tanks.
Panzer
You got him.
He's
you
got
him.
you, Sonny. He's
got
got you.
You stupid glowing orb. Making it hard to see during the day. Makes
Oh,
my
Sonny
eyes
got
hurt.
him. Fucking got him.
Fine,
dead.
try
He
seeing
killed
without
Sunny.
the sun during the day.
Yo, when you go behind clouds and you're hiding, I could see just fine. I don't know, whatever. 8.8, yeah. There you go.
8.8. All right.
Yeah, 8.8. Baccano.
Bacano.
Next, yeah, with an exclamation point. Next week. Yeah.
All right. Does anyone want to give a quick synopsis on Bakuno? Not you, Larry, but someone else.
That's a good question. I don't think anyone can give an accurate synopsis of that show.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't really think you can. It's so.
1930s Chicago. Train journey across the country with
Isn't it
lots
more
of
like
death.
Train heist.
Crime.
I'm
It's an
trying
anime
to-
on crime.
Yeah.
Snaps.
There you
yeah.
go.
Mafia
Mafia. and you got him.
trains 1930s Chicago and New York.
If you guys
Yeah.
have not yet watched it, you guys are gonna love it. So be sure to join us next week for that.
It's one hell of a fucking ride.
It is gonna be March 9th at 8 o'clock Pacific time. And if you're on the Eastern Coast, it's what time?
Wait, what? 11:30.
11:30. Okay.
And
Oh
then the
gosh,
week
we
after
should make
that,
this
it
show-
becomes
Yeah?
daylight savings time, so it's PDT instead of PST. Look out for it. The clock is gonna change soon.
That's shifty.
Spring
son.
ahead.
Alright, guys, we're going to go ahead and host one of our friends. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's episode. Hope you guys are joining us for next week. And enjoy Baccano. You guys will most likely love it. It might also be one of those animes we give, like a perfect score all the way across. But, yeah, we'll see you guys next week. I'm going to go host this guy. He's playing Battleground
Raid.
Unknown? Yeah, I'm a
Raid?
Raid. Yeah, we can do a raid.
Raid.
Thank you for
And-
watching, Mark.
Thank you, Z. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, everyone else. Lurks. I love you guys. See you guys next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. I mean, we got like another 15
Dun, dun,
seconds
dun,
or so.
dun, 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 dun.
Da,
Dun, dun,
da,
dun,
da, da,
dun,
da,
dun.
da, 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 da,
Da, da, da, da.
Da, 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 da. Da, da, da,
Da,
da.
this crowd. Da, 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 da.
Today on The Price is Right.
Da, 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 da.